Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We've got a ton going on here at Spirit Blade Productions and Christian Geek Central, including our in-depth Bible study for geeks, movie, game, and other entertainment reviews or commentary, live streams, Christian geek news, original audio dramas, and tons more. And on top of all that, you can become a Spirit Blade insider with an influential voice and get access to exclusive content and rewards. It's your involvement as a patron that will keep all of this going and growing, so I want to thank you for your consideration in that. For more information, please check out our Patreon page through the link below at patreon.com/spiritbladeproductions. Thanks for listening. Okay, well, my editing skills are crap, but can the same thing be said about the Netflix original movie, The Midnight Sky? Stick around and find out. That's about the only lighthearted moment in this movie, is when that song plays. And even then, I was like, what's gonna happen next? Hey, I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is my uncut review of The Midnight Sky. The synopsis on IMDb reads, this post-apocalyptic tale follows Augustine, a lonely scientist in the Arctic, as he races to stop Sully and her fellow astronauts from returning home to a mysterious global catastrophe. So what is this animal? I would describe it as a near-future sci-fi drama. Definitely emphasis on the drama. The story follows primarily Augustine, played by George Clooney, who also directed this movie. Augustine stays behind as all the other surviving members of humanity flee the planet or go underground or just in other ways try to evacuate and get to safety in space or underground to try to survive this global catastrophe that has basically made Earth uninhabitable almost anywhere on the surface. So while all the other surviving members of humanity go off to do that, he stays behind at this Arctic observatory to try and get in touch with the astronauts who have been away on a 2-year mission to investigate whether or not a nearby planet is habitable enough to be colonized. And so they're returning from that mission, but they don't know about what has happened on Earth. And so he is trying to make contact with them. So during that time, while he's alone, he's reflecting on his life choices. There are some flashbacks throughout the movie where we see how he, over the course of his life, chose career over relationships. He's dealing with loneliness and regret. He's reminded all the more about some of the choices he regrets by this small girl he discovers early in the movie was left behind. And so he has to fight to help both himself and this girl survive as they try to reach this Arctic station that will have better communication equipment, allowing them to better reach the astronauts that are coming home. Meanwhile, the astronauts were going back and forth between Augustine and these astronauts coming home from their mission, and they're dealing with current disconnection from their loved ones. They have not had communication with Earth, so they don't know what's going on, but they're thinking about their loved ones, separated from their loved ones. They're dealing with the challenges and hazards of space travel. So between these two kind of stories that we follow, it's a heavy drama with light sci-fi elements. It's astronauts in the sense of still dealing with a lack of gravity, artificial gravity created by rotation of different modules on this kind of traveling space station in the sense that they are on. I think it's a good halfway point to watch with people who would want maybe relationship-based drama but aren't into sci-fi as much. So maybe if you're into sci-fi and you have a spouse or a friend or someone that you're dating or whatever the case may be that is not as much into sci-fi, but they could really get invested in a human drama, in relationship drama, then I think this would be something maybe where both of you could get something out of it that you would really appreciate. As far as the cast goes, of course we've got George Clooney. He's very recognizable. He also, as I said, directed this movie. Really a sad and moving performance from him, and I really appreciated just the pace and the tone his direction as well. I also want to call out, there are some other familiar faces, like, oh, I've seen them in something before. The one that stood out to me among those is Kyle Chandler, who's best known probably for the TV show he was on called Early Edition way back in the day. He's been in a number of other TV shows and movies since then, and he's really a standout to me as a man separated from his family that he really misses, really wants to get back to, and so I really appreciated his performance. He plays, in all the roles I've seen him in, typically very sympathetic characters that I really care about. He just often plays a good guy that you kind of want to root for, and he's by no means kind of like the main focus of the astronauts. It's really an ensemble cast there, but he was the standout for me. As far as the stunts and visuals go, this is for my cursed eye that picks out CG pretty easily, pretty solid. There were some dreamlike sequences that have to do with the planet that they're hoping to colonize that looked a bit fake, but in retrospect, as I got further into the movie, I was like, maybe they were supposed to look fake because those were these kind of dreamlike sequences of the planet. We don't actually see the astronauts on the planet, and so and there were other CG shots that I was like, okay, now this definitely looks much better. Part of that might have been because a lot of the CG shots that looked better to my mind had to do with inanimate objects, you know, like the space station itself and debris in space and stuff like that. But when it gets to organic, when it gets to trees and branches and things that are supposed to move in an organic way, that's where my eye really tends to pick out the shortcomings of CG. And so I don't know exactly, you know, what the reason is that the planet looked a little bit more fake to me, but on the whole, I thought that the visual effects did what they needed to do and were not a distraction for me. As far as themes, is there anything of moral, philosophical, or spiritual significance going on in the themes of this thing that might trigger some worthwhile thought or conversation? It's really, I especially saw this once I was deep into the movie, that there is a consistent theme on disconnection from family relationships, disconnection both by choice in some cases and also just by circumstances beyond their control. So I think in that way, especially how they lean into the drama of that, I think it's a possible springboard for reflecting on our own family relationships that we value, or that maybe we should value and be grateful for more. And so it's one of those movies, like it's heavy, it's sad, and kind of makes me want to hug my boys, you know, when the movie is over. So be prepared for that kind of experience. But I think there's some benefits to having that kind of experience as well. So I have no idea what your tastes are on movies, but if I were a time traveler, I'd go back in time and say, Peter, this is not worth a month of Netflix on its own, but when a month comes up that you're going to get it for something else that you want to watch, put this on your viewing list, maybe as something that you sit down and watch with Holly, because I think it's something that you could both get some good things out of. It's rated PG-13 for some bloody images and brief, strong language. All right, those are my thoughts. Would love to get yours in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, anything you want to do to help spread this content around, stay connected to it yourself, help other people that would be interested in this kind of content discover it. I would be really, really grateful for. And then I want to thank the Spirit Blade Insiders for making this review possible. For more information about the benefits of becoming an insider, you can go to patreon.com/Spiritblade Productions, and then I hope you'll join us soon as we continue. Soon where? Soon over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.
Do you believe in the supernatural?
Download the Legacy Edition of Spirit Blade, a full past audio drama, for free at spiritblade.com.